You guys know how tall you are, right? Okay, so assuming that your height, and assuming your belly button is somewhere close to about half of your height, okay, right? How tall are your kitchen cabinets at home? Your belly button's at 4 feet? No. I mean, my counters at home are about this height, so they're a little bit under my belly button or about my belly button. A little bit, right, real close. So your counters at home are about 3 feet tall. That's a standard height for a counter, right? And the depth of a standard counter is 2 feet, which happens to be about what you can comfortably reach with your hand when you're standing facing forward, right? So if any of you got a window over your counter, over the sink, you don't have to like lean way over to open the window, right? You can just reach forward and open it. That's because that's about 2 feet, approximately. That's a little bit more than 2 feet, right? I don't have the tape measure, but I do have this ruler, and this ruler happens to be 25 inches, and so you can see that my hand from the front to my fingertips is about 2 feet. Okay, so that's how big counters are. So if I asked you, so you know that this is a floor plan, right? So if we were to look at a person standing on the porch, we would see that person's head, and then we would see his shoulders, and we might see 2 feet sticking out down there, right? And if the person's bald, we might see a balding spot up on top. But you're seeing the top of the head, the shoulders, and then the 2 feet sticking out. And if they have a belly like me, and it sticks out further. All right? Okay, so now, let's look at a section, okay? So this is a section through your gallery. So again, how big is your box? 30 by 30 by 30. So I'll start by doing that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make the walls 9 inches again. How far above the ground level is the floor? 3 feet. So there's a floor level right there. And this is actually not here. So the box comes down and ends, and comes down and ends, and then you've got okay? And that's 3 feet up. Now, if I wanted to create a subtraction on the outside that would look like a counter on the inside, how do I start? Anybody have any ideas? How tall is a counter?
3 feet.
How deep is a counter?
3 feet.
Huh? How tall is a counter?
3 feet.
And how deep is a counter?
2 feet.
2 feet. So maybe I draw the profile of that counter on the inside, right? So maybe I go up 3 feet and I go out 2 feet. And that's what the shape needs to be inside. Now I know that my foam core is how thick in inches? At scale? 9 inches. So then I come down 9 inches, and I come back 9 inches. And if I wanted to create a spatial subtraction on the outside that could become a counter, that's how I would approach it. I would set 3 feet, then I would set 2 feet, 3 feet, and then I would put in 9-inch walls. Okay? So you guys are going to have to do multiple subtractions on your box. So for sure you have to do a porch, an entry porch, and a sunset porch. There'll be one door going into each one. And then in addition to that, you're going to be asked to add spatial subtractions to add detail to the box. And so that's one way that you can add some level of detail is to put a counter in. Now, there's a counter, right? Let's just hypothetically say that that counter is over here on this wall. Do I run it all the way across? Maybe. But I could also maybe run it until it gets to parallel with that wall and then stop it there. If I do that, won't that reinforce that space? Yes, because not only is the space ending there, but there's an object now in the room that also ends there. Okay? How many of you guys have ever been in buildings that have ceilings that are at different heights? And they're kind of interesting. No? Yeah? You might have seen you walk into like a nice restaurant and maybe it has a lowered ceiling and then a higher ceiling in the dining area or something. Well, that's another thing. We aren't going to do that with this project, but that would be another way of articulating this, would be to lower the ceiling in this area and lower the ceiling in that area, right? And that would really create that long space centered in the center. And it would be visually very interesting. You'd walk in and you would walk in under a low ceiling and then there'd be a tall ceiling and you'd see this other lower ceiling on the other end. There's this object perfectly centered in the room. Okay? So visually, there's all sorts of interesting things that you can do with the different surfaces on the inside and the outside to create this unique object. All right, are there any questions about that? No? All right, go ahead and stop this.